Imagine one day suddenly your grandpa drops the ultimate side quest to marry the girl you hate the most. That's exactly what happens to this loser, Saito. One fine day, his grandpa just decides it's wedding season for Saito and his classmate Akane, who, by the way, would rather hug a cactus than talk to him. And guess what? They are now forced to live under the same roof. The story begins with Saito walking toward his class. He notices a cute girl ahead of him and immediately goes into that slow-motion rom-com mode. But before his brain can start imagining any background music, the girl grabs his tie and says, "Don't you dare tell anyone about us." And Sato's brain just explodes. Internally, he was screaming, "I got married to this girl, but she's literally the person I hate the most in my class." Now, the story flashes back 4 days. Akane was yelling at Saito for not doing his homework. Saito says, "I don't like doing these useless things." Akane glares at him like he just committed a war crime and says, "It's not useless, it's your homework." Saito, with all the confidence of a man who's wrong but loud, replies, "This is boring, and if you have so much free time, why don't you go study yourself?" Akane snaps, "I absolutely hate your attitude." Just then, Akane's friend Himari shows up like the peacekeeper between two idiots and says, "Don't get so angry." Akane says, "This is all his fault." Himari smirks and asks, "Akane, why are you always fighting with Saito?" Akane goes into deep self-reflection mode for half a second before saying, "I don't even know. Just seeing his face makes me want to punch something." Saito, listening this, asks, "Do you think I'm some kind of bug?" Just then Sato's sister, Shizuai, arrives and pats his head like he's a puppy. Himari can't resist and teases Akane saying, "You always fight with him. Maybe you actually like him." Akane's soul leaves her body as she screams, "What? Even if he were the last guy on Earth, I'd never like him." Saito shouts back, "I should be the one saying that. Even if you were the last girl alive, I'd still pass." Later that day, Saito gets a call from his grandpa who says he wants to meet. Saito tries to dodge it by saying he needs to study, which is hilarious because we literally saw him refuse to do homework a few minutes ago. His grandpa hits him with the emotional damage move, saying, "You're the heir to my company, at least make time for your grandpa." Next thing we know, a luxury car arrives to pick Saito up. He knew resistance was useless because if he runs, they'll just drag him back. We then learn that Sato's grandpa was basically a business tycoon who revived a collapsing company and turned it into a mega empire. The driver even says, "The master really loves you. He's nothing like your father." After some time, Saito reaches a massive mansion, but guess who shows up too? She asks, "What are you doing here?" Saito replies, "My grandfather dragged me here." Akane looks disgusted and says, "My grandmother called me here too. I thought it was for dinner, but seeing you just ruined my appetite." Saito tries to ignore her, but she keeps yelling at him. Just then, two elderly people arrive, Sato's grandfather and Akane's grandmother. Both teens are shocked because this was clearly a setup. Grandpa says, "Why are you standing outside? Come inside." Everyone sits down, and while Saito was trying to figure out why this feels like a suspense movie intro, and just then the elders drop the bomb. "We called you here for your wedding." Both Saito and Akane go speechless. Saito yells, "Marriage? Are you joking?" Akane adds, "We're still in high school." Grandpa starts explaining that he and Akane's grandmother used to be classmates who argued just like these two, but life separated them. Now they want to see what would have happened if they had ended up together by marrying their grandchildren instead. Because clearly, that's how parents fix their regrets. Akane's grandma emotionally blackmails her saying, "Akane, will you do this for your grandmother?" Meanwhile, Saito tries to sound smart for once and says, "Marriage is about love, and forcing someone is a crime." Grandpa laughs and says, "I thought you'd say that." Then, out of nowhere, he brings in a dog and says, "If you don't agree, I'll give my entire company to this dog." And Saito just freezes. "Wait, where did this dog come from?" Grandpa proudly says he found it in a trash bin. Saito stammers, "If you actually do that, the company will collapse." Grandpa smirks, "Exactly. So, are you agreeing now?" Meanwhile, Akane's grandma whispers something to Akane that makes her visibly nervous. And Grandpa says, "Take 3 days to decide." And both elders leave for their honeymoon, because apparently matchmaking grandkids is exhausting work. Now, Saito and Akane are left alone, awkwardly staring at each other. Akane asks, "So, are you going to marry me?" Saito sighs, "What should I even say? What did your grandmother whisper to you?" Akane glares and says, "None of your business." Saito gets annoyed and says, "Fine, do whatever you want." Later, we see Akane in her room, lost in thought, probably wondering how her life went from homework fights to marriage proposals within 4 days. She calls calls Himari for emotional backup and asks her how would she react if she is being forced to marry someone she hated. Himari was surprisingly normal and says she would refuse because she already likes someone else. Akane shouts, "Are you kidding?" Himari giggles and says yes, but I am not telling you, and Akane says I do not like anyone, though I would happily kill someone if it made everything simpler. Himari laughs at the melodrama and points out that if you do not like anyone, then getting married is not the end of the world. Akane asks, but what if he tries to force himself on me? Himari teases and says, then you will get a cute baby out of it, which makes Akane turn into 50 shades of embarrassment and shouts, what the hell are you even saying? Meanwhile, Saito was brooding in his room thinking that if fate had picked literally anyone else, he might have shrugged and accepted, but of course it had to be Akane because fate loves spicy drama. His sister Shizui, who was wise and annoyingly right, sits on his lap like the little therapist he never asked for and asks him to be honest about what he wants. She tells him that running away is not freedom because every life has ties, and if he chooses to face failure, she will face it with him. She promises to stick by him no matter what, and Saito thanked her for being someone who actually understands him more than he understands himself. On the third day, the elders wanted the answer, and both Saito and Akane declare at the same time that they agree to marriage. Their faces were priceless as the realization hits that neither of them actually meant to say yes. Akane quickly clarifies that I said yes to the marriage, but I do not love you, so do not get any ideas, and the grandparents clap like this is the most wholesome thing since sliced bread. Saito tries to stall and says fine, we will get married after graduation, but grandpa laughs and says no, your new life starts today. They are then sent to a huge house which was going to be their married household from now. Akane loses her mind, crying over being handed a full-sized mansion and a forced partner. Saito locks the door, which immediately makes Akane scream about being imprisoned with a pervert monster. He smirks and she promises that she will deal with him later. However, Akane cannot help but being a little impressed by the house, but the moment is short-lived because then she spots the bed and screams that there is only one bed. They call Sato's grandpa and he answers the call like a man who has read too many rom-coms and casually confirms that yes, this is a rule, you guys have sleep together. Now Akane imagines all sorts of horrors and pulls out a pencil as if it was sword. Meanwhile, Saito searched around suspiciously looking for hidden cameras. Akane accuses Saito of wanting to jump on her like an animal. He protests and yells at her, what the hell is wrong with you? Meanwhile, she storms off to unpack like a tiny tornado and drops a heavy box on the stairs. In a moment of pure clumsy rom-com moment, she slips and Saito catches her in time, making her blush like a red rose. Later at dinner, they were eating pizza and Saito asked if she wanted to eat together, but Akane, being Akane, misunderstands him, gets flustered and shouts, you want me to undress and eat me, you pervert. Hearing this, Saito was shocked while Akane snatches the pizza like a cat with a winning snack. That night, they lie side by side on the same bed and Saito could smell her hair. Akane warns him, if you try anything I will kill you, and she was not joking. Saito admits flatly that he has never slept this close to anyone either, and the two of them hang in that awkward moment. Akane thinks, I am using this marriage as a means to follow her dreams. Akane's peaceful nightmare continues as she suddenly imagines the grandparents saying that they can't wait for grandkids. The moment this cursed thought echo in her brain, she flinches like she's been hit by lightning and jerks closer to Saito. Unfortunately, her movement turns into a live-action disaster as Saito's hand accidentally brushes against her. Akane instantly grabs his wrist like she's about to perform a WWE submission move and yells, how dare you touch me? I'll break your fingers. Poor Saito, caught between fear and disbelief, stammers, it was an accident. The bed is small and you literally jumped at me. The next morning, Akane grabs Saito by the tie and warns him, if you tell anyone about our marriage, I'll end you. If people find out I'm married to you, I'll die of embarrassment and I'll take you with me. Saito, already half dead inside, says, relax, I'm not telling anyone. But Akane's trust level was lower than his exam marks. I don't believe you, she hisses. You'll tell everyone that we sleep together every night. Saito, trying to save his dignity, says, I swear I won't. Akane still wasn't convinced but says, fine, I'll install a camera on you. And a bomb. You tell anyone and boom. At this point, Sato's inner voice was just screaming, this girl is absolutely insane. She looks cute, but she's built like a dungeon's final boss. At school, Saito walks in with Akane following him like a detective tailing a suspect. Just then Ari swoops in and asks Akane, what were you talking about with Saito? Akane replies with her trademark lie, nothing, I was just telling him to never talk to me again. Saito mutters under his breath, you were literally the one who came to me. Then, his sister Shizui appears like a bloodhound, sniffs him, and says, you smell different. Whose shampoo is that? Saito panics and says, Dad must have bought a new one. But Shizui squints, that's a girl's shampoo. Then, out of nowhere, she bites his neck like a suspicious vampire hair and yells, "You got married, didn't you?" Saito freezes because this is not how confessions are supposed to happen. Turns out, Shizuai had already suspected Grandpa's schemes and had done her research. Before she can reveal Akane's name, Saito quickly covers her mouth and drags her out of class. She smirks and says, "You got married without my permission, now pay up." Saito, terrified, asks what she wants. She smiles sweetly and says, "I'll decide later." Frustrated, Saito returns to class just in time to get yelled at again. Akane storms in, demanding, "Why didn't you put away the cleaning supplies after your duty?" Saito sighs, "The next class needed them, so I left them there." Himari awkwardly joins in, "Actually, Akane and I already put them back. Maybe that was our mistake." Akane, full of chaotic logic, mutters, "If a meteor had hit the school, the next class would have been cancelled." Hearing her illogical argument, Saito snaps, "Why are your ideas always apocalyptic?" The entire class watches their argument like it's a sitcom, whispering about how cute they are. Himari even says, "You two fight so much, people call you a married couple." Akane immediately screams, "We are not married," while Saito just thinks quietly, "But we actually are." Later at home, Akane stares into the fridge like she's discovered a crime scene and asks, "Why are there only juice boxes in here?" And Saito proudly replies, "I bought them. They're full of vitamins." Then he proudly mixes vegetable juice into a protein shake and calls it super healthy. Akane looks at him like he just mixed cement and orange juice and shouts, "I'm not drinking this poison. You're planning to survive on this junk?" Saito insists, "It's not junk, it's nutrition." Akane groans, thinking, "If he keeps eating this, he'll die. And if he dies, Grandma will never let my dream come true. I need to keep him alive." Determined, she decides to cook dinner herself. Akane was plotting like a villain in her head. "Once he tastes my cooking, he'll be obsessed and I'll prove I'm smarter." Saito, watching her evil grin, starts sweating, thinking, "Why is she laughing like that? Is she trying to poison me?" After some time, dinner was finally ready. Akane smirks, "Go ahead, eat." Saito checks his plate like he's defusing a bomb, making sure there are no nails or strange powders. He takes one cautious bite and his flashback mode gets unlocked. It tastes like something his mom used to make. When Akane asks how it is, he says, "Just normal home-cooked food," but deep inside, it hits him right in the heart. Akane misreads his tone, grabs the plate, and yells, "If you don't like it, I'll give it to a stray dog." Saito panics, "Who said I didn't like it?" and gulps down the entire meal like a man who's been fasting for a week. Akane starts hitting him for stealing her food, and somehow this turns into their weird version of bonding. The next morning, Akane tries to wake him up, but Saito, half asleep, mistakes her for his sister Shizuai and pulls her into his arms. When he realizes it's Akane, he jumps up, apologizing so fast he almost trips over his guilt. Turns out Akane came only to remind him to wash last night's dishes. He lazily says, "Just keep using new plates. I'll wash them when they pile up to the ceiling." Akane glares with pure rage and yells, "Wash them now." Later that night, Saito was playing his zombie-killing game. Akane storms in, yelling, "Keep it down. I can't study." Saito doesn't even look up and says, "Can't you see I'm in the middle of something?" Akane snatches the controller and declares, "This disgusting violent nonsense won't exist in my house." Saito fires back, "It's my house too," and their tug-of-war ends when the doorbell rings. Akane lets go and Saito falls, due to which the console unplugs, and all his hard-earned game progress disappears into the void. Akane, completely unfazed by his suffering, says, "Your stuff just arrived from your old house." Meanwhile, Saito sits there mourning his lost progress like a man who just lost his whole life's earnings to an Indian call center. Later in the study room, after unpacking his things, Saito heads toward the bathroom, ready to take a relaxing shower, but the moment he opens the bathtub door, destiny hits him with a jump scare straight out of a romance anime. Akane was already bathing inside. Saito freezes, slams the door shut so fast that it could break a sound barrier, and stands there, processing the trauma. Then he stops and thinks, wait, what if she fainted or something? Because of course, his luck would end with a murder accusation. He knocks on the door nervously, yelling, "Hey, you alive in there? You're not dead, right?" But there's no response. The silence was louder than his heartbeat. Panicking, Saito bursts inside, only to find Akane peacefully asleep in the tub. Who even falls asleep while bathing? He mutters, completely done with reality. But before he can leave, Akane starts mumbling in her sleep. "So, you've accepted defeat? Fine then. I'll let you live in a dog's house." Saito stares at her, speechless. "Yeah, that's it. I'm leaving before she kills me even in her dreams." But then guilt hits him. Wait, what if she actually drowns? So, he bends down to wake her up, but karma decides to teach him physics. He slips, falls straight into the tub, and drags Akane down with him. Now the scene looks like something out of a scandal. Akane opens her eyes with tears, confusion, and killing intent in her gaze. "What the hell are you doing? Are you trying to do something to me?" Saito's brain malfunctions. "No, I can explain." But before he can even finish, Akane starts screaming like he's a villain from a soap opera. Saito bolts out of the bathroom, yelling, "I didn't didn't do anything wrong. I swear, Akane shouts back. But you saw me, didn't you? Saito stops for a second, realizing he's doomed either way, and decides silence might be safer than words. Later, Akane dries her hair, replaying the whole thing in her head. He saw me, but maybe I just fell asleep and he was trying to help. Maybe. Meanwhile, Saito lies on his bed pretending to read but mostly dying inside from embarrassment. Suddenly, Akane enters, lies down next to him, and tries to say something, but Saito quickly cuts her off. I'm sleepy, good night. Akane softly replies, yeah, sleep well, and quietly turns away. The next day at school, Himari notices something off and asks, what's wrong with you today? Akane, completely overwhelmed, hugs her and starts crying. There's someone I just can't get along with, but I still want to talk to him. Himari smirks, it's Saito, isn't it? Akane instantly denies it, absolutely not. This person doesn't even go to our school. Himari chuckles, then just talk to him. Sometimes that's all it takes. Akane sighs, easy for you to say, you can talk to anyone. Himari shakes her head, not really. You just have to respect the other person when you talk. That's how you connect. Meanwhile, Saito's day was just as miserable. He keeps replaying every argument in his head. His sister Shizui notices and asks, then why don't you just get a divorce? Saito groans, I can't. I have to take care of our company too. Shizui smirks, then fix your relationship with her. Girls like it when guys talk nicely, or when they get picked up like in dramas. Sato's soul leaves his body at that suggestion. That evening, when he returns home, Akane was standing there waiting with her expression serious enough to make him nervous. He immediately tries to retreat, but she grabs his sleeve and says, we need to talk. I don't want us to keep fighting forever. Saito blinks in surprise. You know what, I was thinking the same thing. They sit down and agree that if they're going to live together, they should make things more comfortable. Saito suggests, let's make some rules, things we can tolerate about each other. Akane nods. They agree that Saito will do the dishes daily and help with the laundry when asked. In return, Saito requests, if I accidentally touch you while sleeping, please don't freak out. I toss and turn a lot and the bed's tiny. Akane blushes but agrees, adding that he can play horror games as long as he uses earphones. Later, while Saito washes the dishes, he wonders if this is the same Akane who usually screams at him. But then Akane joins him and starts helping with the dishes, smiling softly. Saito almost drops a plate thinking, am I dreaming? He stares at her, realizing that she actually looks really cute when she smiles. Later, Akane hesitantly says, I rented a movie. Do you want to watch it with me? Saito was shocked but agrees, thinking it'll be a normal movie. But it's not. It's a 24-hour-long video of cats doing random things. Akane watches it like it's the greatest masterpiece ever made, while Saito slowly dozes off into another realm. Afterward, Akane turns to him and says, since you watched my favorite movie, it's my turn to play your favorite game. Saito warns her, you might get addicted, but she just smirks. 30 minutes later, she was absolutely destroying him in the game. Saito is in disbelief but secretly happy because, for once, they're actually enjoying each other's company. That night, as they get ready to sleep, Akane softly thanks him for the day. Saito smiles and says that next time, they can pick another movie or one of her games. Akane then suggests that since they're husband and wife, they should start calling each other by their names. Saito agrees, but the moment they do, both of them blush so hard, they look like strawberries. The next day at school, Akane hands Saito his eraser. Himari walks in, instantly suspicious. You two fought again? She asks. Akane tries to act normal. Yeah, we always do. But Himari notices her tone and teases, you sound weird today. Usually, you'd insult him by now. Akane stammers, trying to think of an excuse, but when Himari casually asks, did you two become friends or something? Akane gets so flustered she accidentally calls him by his name. Himari's eyes widen in shock, but before she can ask anything, Akane runs out of the room like her life depends on it, leaving Himari standing there completely confused. Later in evening, Saito was sitting quietly, trying to read a book when his piece got shattered again. Shizui appeared behind him, teasing him as usual. Saito sighed and told her to stop messing around, but Shizui crossed her arms proudly and said she was actually helping him. Helping me with what exactly? Saito asked. Shizui pointed at the book in his hands and smirked. Why are you reading a book about communication skills? Saito glared at her and said he was just trying to improve his relationship with Akane. Saito ignored her and called Akane to talk, but the moment she picked up, she was already mad and snapped at him. Saito awkwardly asked if she was free after school. When she said yes, he asked her to go shopping with him. Akane froze. Her brain immediately jumped to one conclusion. Is this a date? She started panicking internally like it was the end of the world. Saito noticed her reaction and quickly corrected himself. It's not a date or anything, I just don't want to go alone. Akane exhaled in relief, though both of them looked like awkward penguins pretending everything was normal. After a bit of confusion, they agreed on where to meet and even laughed at the misunderstanding. Later that day, Himari approached Akane and cheerfully invited her to hang out since she was free from work. Akane was happy at first but then remembered that she already had plans with Saito. She hesitated and said she couldn't come because she had something else to do. Himari's eyes sparkled like she had just smelled gossip. Wait, is it a date? Who's the guy? Akane panicked and apologized, then ran away faster than a Formula 1 car. On her way out, she bumped into Shizuai, who immediately started interrogating her, but Akane once again escaped like a fugitive. When Akane finally arrived to meet Saito, she kept repeating to herself, "This isn't a date, it's just shopping." But when Saito arrived, both of them were so awkward that even the air felt heavy. At the store, Saito started picking random items without even looking at the prices, and Akane immediately scolded him to check them first. Then they went to the meat sale area, which looked more like a battlefield. Akane prepared herself mentally for combat, but the moment she stepped inside, she got knocked out by the crowd. Saito tried to go in to save her but ended up getting knocked out before even reaching her. After the chaos, the two sat on the floor laughing at their defeat. Saito sighed and said he would rather skip eating meat from next time. Akane grinned and told him he had no choice but to come with her anyway. As they walked home, Saito casually said, "You'd make a great wife in the future." Akane's face turned red as she looked away. "I'm already your wife, idiot," she muttered. Later that night, Akane woke up to find Saito leaning toward her. She froze in horror. "What are you doing, you pervert?" she yelled. Saito immediately started panicking, waving his hands. "Wait, it's not what it looks like. You just looked cute while sleeping, and I wanted to touch your cheeks." Akane blinked, completely caught off guard. "So, you just wanted to touch my cheeks?" Saito nodded nervously. After a pause, Akane sighed and said, "Fine, go ahead." The next morning, the awkwardness in the air was so strong it could be cut with a knife. Akane burned the breakfast, Saito couldn't put on his tie properly, and both avoided eye contact like it was a deadly curse. On their way to school, Saito stopped by a bakery and bought Akane's favorite strawberry bread. They shared it quietly until, of course, Himari appeared like an unwanted plot twist. She stared at them, eyes wide, and started firing questions like a detective. Akane panicked and blurted out, "He's stalking me. Call the police." Hearing this, Saito almost dropped his bread. Himari tilted her head and asked, "Really? Because you two look like you're having fun and even sharing food." Akane's brain malfunctioned again. "Oh, that? I bought too much, so I decided to feed a stray dog," she said with a straight face, and Sato's soul left his body. "A stray dog? Really?" he yelled, and they both started arguing while Himari just stood there, silently watching the circus unfold. That night, Akane stayed up late studying when Saito walked in. Surprised, he asked, "You're still awake?" Akane, looking tired but determined, said their exams were coming up soon and scolded him for never studying yet always getting perfect marks. Saito shrugged and said he remembered everything from class, which only made her angrier, she muttered before kicking him out of the room. Feeling guilty, Saito decided to make something for her. He prepared strawberry sandwiches, her favorite. When Akane saw them, she hesitated but finally took a bite. Her expression softened instantly. "It's good," she said quietly. Encouraged, she kept studying while Saito continued cooking for her every night. But one day at school, Akane suddenly collapsed. Himari rushed to her side, worried, telling her to stop overworking. Akane weakly smiled and said she was fine, just a bit tired. Himari frowned and warned her she was ruining her health, but Akane refused to rest. She was too determined to beat Saito in exams. Himari reminded her that their time in school was limited since graduation was next year, but Akane only grew more motivated. That night, Saito brought dinner to Akane's room but realized she had a fever. He gently helped her to bed, wiped her sweat, and stayed beside her. "You need to stop pushing yourself so hard," he said softly. Akane weakly replied that she couldn't stop because she had to achieve her dream. She wanted to become a doctor to help people who suffered. She then revealed the truth. Her family couldn't afford medical school, so her grandmother made a deal. If she married Saito, his family would cover her fees. Saito was speechless. Akane smiled bitterly and said that he didn't even need to study yet always scored perfectly. Saito replied that everyone had different strengths, but Akane got annoyed again. Still, in a small voice, she admitted that she respected him. The moment she realized what she said, she immediately started insulting him again to cover it up. As the night went on, her fever worsened. Saito stayed by her side, realizing that behind all her fiery arguments was someone who worked harder than anyone else. Saito considers calling an ambulance, but Akane immediately refuses. She says she would never forgive herself if an actual emergency patient lost a hospital bed because of her. Saito sighs, realizing how stubborn she can be even while burning with fever. He looks for a taxi but finds none, so without hesitation, he lifts her in his arms and starts running toward the hospital. As he carries her through the quiet night, he thinks that maybe, just maybe, one day he might actually have a happy ending with the girl he married. After few days in mourning, Akane was back to her usual self, shouting at Saito to wake up. He groans, half buried under his blanket, wondering why peace never lasts longer than 5 minutes in his life. He starts narrating that his wife came completely fine within a week because it was only a mild fever, but somehow they've gotten a lot closer since then. Of course, Saito can't help teasing her, reminding Akane that she once said she respected him. Akane's face turns red instantly, and she chases him around the house screaming, while Saito runs for his life, laughing like an idiot. Later at school, Himari walks up to Saito and starts chatting. She drops a few subtle hints that she likes him, but Saito was too dense to catch any of it. The moment she leaves, Akane shows up, glaring like a jealous wife straight out of a drama. She folds her arms and says coldly, "Don't get too close to other girls. You already have a wife, got it?" Then she walks away, leaving Saito completely speechless. As she disappears down the hall, he thinks to himself that lately, his wife has started looking even cuter. In the next scene, we see Saito sprinting through the school hallway as Akane chases him with full fury. He's screaming like she's about to commit murder, but the truth is, Akane was just trying to give him the lunchbox he forgot at home. When she finally catches up, Saito looks shocked and asked, "You brought this for me?" Akane crosses her arms and says she worked hard on it, so he better finish everything. When Saito compliments her cooking, Akane blushes so hard that even her ears turn red. During lunch break, Shizui shows up and shamelessly asks Saito for food. He refuses, reminding her that she already had breakfast like she was preparing for hibernation. She starts fake crying and tries to snatch his lunch, but when Saito resists, she loudly yells, "I just want to taste food made by your wife." The entire class goes silent. Saito nearly chokes and tells her to shut up, but of course, the damage is done. Now the whole class thinks he's a monster who won't share food with his poor sister. Outnumbered, Saito finally gives in and shares a bit. Right then, Himari walks in and freezes. Both Saito and Akane have brought the exact same lunch. The entire class explodes with rumors that they're secretly dating. Akane yells that there's no way she'd ever date someone like him, but inside both of them were thinking the same thing. "We're not dating, we're literally married." Saito then turns around and finds that Shizui has already eaten his entire lunchbox. He yells at her, but she proudly says, "Don't worry, I destroyed the evidence," leaving Saito completely speechless. Later, Himari suddenly jumps down the stairs in front of Saito. He panics and scolds her for being reckless, but she smirks and says, "Even if I fall, I know you'll catch me." Saito sighs and replies that he has zero interest in being popular with girls. She giggles and changes the topic, asking if Akane made him lunch today. Saito explains that they both just used frozen food and jokes that Akane must be copying him. Himari looks excited and runs off before he can say anything else. Unbeknownst to him, Shizui overhears the entire conversation. That night, Akane wakes up because she hears strange noises. When she opens her eyes, she sees a ghostly figure and screams so loudly that Saito jumps out of bed. She starts rambling about seeing a ghost. Saito, still half asleep, tells her to calm down and goes back to bed, but Akane yells that she won't stay alone because the ghost might take her soul. Left with no choice, Saito gets up to investigate. Suddenly, another sound comes from the kitchen, and Akane immediately clings to his arm in fear. Saito freezes, blushing like crazy, while Akane hides behind him, trembling. The next day, Akane barges into Saito's reading room, insisting that she saw the ghost again and heard more strange noises. Saito asks for proof, maybe a photo, but Akane refuses, saying taking a picture would curse her phone. Saito doesn't know what to say as Akane confidently announces she'll stay in his room to protect him from the ghost. Later, when Saito tries to go to the bathroom, she follows him, asking where he's going. When he says, "The washroom," she bangs on the door and yells that he should just go outside like a dog. Hearing this, Saito snaps, "I'm not a dog." A little while later, Akane decides to take a bath and calls Saito to join her. When he refuses, she says fine, but she wants him to wait outside. While bathing, she keeps asking, "Are you still there?" Saito, trying to distract himself, starts solving math problems in his head and forgets to reply. Thinking he left, Akane suddenly opens the door, leaving Saito frozen in pure panic while she stands there speechless. The next day at school, Shizui talks to Saito and tells him that if he really hated his marriage, he would have already run away. She says they actually need each other, and she can comfort him if he's feeling lonely. Then, out of nowhere, she climbs onto a railing dramatically. Saito panics and pulls her down, and of course, she calls him a pervert. In class, Shizui suddenly turns to Akane and casually asks, "You married my brother, right?" The entire class freezes. Akane's face turns red as she glares at Saito, assuming he spilled the secret. Before Shizui can say anything more, both Akane and Saito grab her and drag her to another classroom. Akane demands to know how she found out, and Shizui smugly says she discovered it through her own investigation. She then brings up the ghost situation again. Akane freaks out even more when Shizui warns that if they don't deal with it soon, their grades might drop by 50 points each. Saito was completely done with their nonsense but gets dragged along anyway. Shizui. Later, the three of them reach Saito and Akane's house. Shizui walks around dramatically, saying the evil energy here is massive. Akane immediately suggests burning the whole house down, but Shizui warns her that doing so might cause extreme physical damage. Akane tells her to do something about it, and the ghost hunt begins. They start with Saito's room, where Shizui, for reasons known only to her, picks up one of his boxers and even sniffs it. Saito turns red and snatches it away, yelling at her. But their real mission is to get rid of Saito's questionable comics. You can guess what kind. Then Shizui moves on to Akane's study room. Akane gets nervous and tries to stop her, but Shizui acts like she's searching for ghosts when in reality she's checking her drawers for lingerie, and Akane screams in embarrassment. As chaos continues, Akane describes the ghost she saw. It was a small child hiding behind the curtains, but when she looked again, it disappeared. Shizui goes quiet, lost in thought, while Akane keeps talking non-stop about every creepy detail. Finally, Saito yells at her to keep quiet so Shizui can focus. And after thinking for a while, Shizui suddenly reveals that the ghost is actually her. Both Saito and Akane were completely shocked. Shizui explains that after analyzing all the given details, she realized that she was the ghost because she had been secretly visiting their house for days. Saito gets angry while Akane feels relieved that it wasn't a real ghost, but as soon as she fully understands what happened, she also gets furious. Shizui then reveals that she got the house key from their grandfather and had been sneaking in just to spy on their relationship. She demands Akane's homemade food as a reward for solving her ghost case. Surprisingly, Akane happily agrees and cooks for her. While eating, Saito even wipes Shizui's mouth, shocking Akane. She starts wondering if they are too close. Later, they all play games together, and Shizui sits on Saito's lap, getting a bit too comfortable. Seeing them being all lovey-dovey, Akane feels awkward and then gets mad at Saito because he had called her annoying earlier. Later, Saito goes to take a bath and Shizui follows him, claiming they will bathe together, but Akane protests, saying, "But isn't Shizui our age?" Shizui casually responds that they always bathe together. Saito quickly denies this, saying they haven't bathed together recently. Annoyed, Akane sets a rule that everyone must bathe alone from now on. Then we see a flashback. When they were kids, Himari asks Akane if she watched a rom-com show last night. Akane replies that she isn't interested in romance and doesn't have time to waste because she has to go home, do homework, and study. Himari tries to get her to relax, but Akane bluntly refuses. Himari adds, "But I am interested in you and want to be your friend. Also, I know of an amazing strawberry waffle place, so I can treat you." Himari already knew that Akane's favorite food is waffles, so she drags her there by force. Back in present, we see them at the same cafe. Himari asks Akane if she likes Saito, which Akane immediately denies. When Akane asks why Himari is asking, Himari confesses that she likes him. Now Akane was shocked and asks what exactly Himari likes about him. Himari tells a story about a sports festival where her friend fainted and everyone panicked. Saito took the initiative and handled everything like a cool prince. He was reliable and kind, which even Akane admits is true. Himari then confesses that she isn't very confident in herself because she has always admired and respected Saito. She continues praising him, and Akane comments that Himari seems to know a lot about Saito's good side. Himari requests Akane's help in making Saito develop feelings for her, since Akane was so close to him. Akane agrees but asks what exactly Himari plans to do. Himari asks Akane to tell her everything she knows about Saito, and Akane realizes that she actually knows very little about him. Later, Saito was at home reading a book but suddenly feels eerie because Akane was secretly watching him from behind. Akane tells him to continue his work, but Saito starts panicking. Even in his room, he notices Akane spying on him from downstairs. Later at dinner, Akane tries to secretly record Saito while he eats. Saito was confused about why she was doing this. Akane insists that no matter what, she won't open her mouth. Then she suddenly asks Saito what type of girls he likes. Saito, surprised, says he doesn't have a specific type. Then Akane asks about his favorite food, and Saito replies steak and other fancy foods. This surprises Akane since it confirms that he's a rich kid. When she asks how he likes his steak, she notes it down as rare, which Saito finds odd. The next day, Akane gives Himari all the information she gathered: what food Saito likes, what he enjoys in his free time like reading books and playing games, etc. Himari is thrilled but wonders how Akane knows so much. Akane claims that she just overheard him talking about it, and Himari believes her. When Himari asks what kind of books and games he likes, Akane replies that he enjoys zombie hunting games, which she finds kind of stupid. Still, Himari is happy to have this information. Later that night, Akane was cooking while Saito was cleaning the bathroom. When he finds out they're having fish for dinner, he gets upset because he was expecting steak. Akane teases him, saying he acts like a child but reassures him that she will take responsibility for him, and Saito was surprised to hear this. The next day at school, Himari directly asks Saito what type of girls he likes. She also mentions that she heard he doesn't have a specific type. Saito asks who told her that, but Akane interrupts, saying, "That's a secret." Then they start discussing beauty, and Himari confesses that she doesn't think she's very pretty. Saito assures her that she is really beautiful. Himari was overjoyed and playfully asks, "If you don't judge people based on looks, then what do you think of me?" Saito was left speechless, but Himari quickly laughs it off, saying she was just joking. Akane overhears this conversation, but before she can react, Shizuai appears and asks, "Are you curious?" Akane denies it, saying she was just thinking that she had never seen Himari smile like that before. Shizuai smirks and says, "I wasn't talking about that." She then comments that Himari has been looking at Saito the same way since their first year. Seeing them together, it's clear they're meant for each other. Akane refuses to accept this, claiming that Himari is too good for Saito. Later, Himari thanks Akane for all her help and offers to treat her to something. Akane was happy but is immediately horrified when Himari suggests coming over to her house. Akane panics and tries to make excuses, saying her house is a mess and she lives in a terrible place. Himari assumes Akane just doesn't want her over and gets sad. Seeing this, Akane finally agrees to let her come over. At home, Saito freaks out when he learns that Himari is coming over. Akane explains that she couldn't refuse. She comes up with a plan to hide all of Saito's stuff so Himari doesn't find out. Just then the doorbell rings. Himari was too excited and arrived early. Saito doesn't have much time, so he quickly hides in the kitchen while Akane opens the door. As Akane and Himari chat in the dining room, Saito receives a message from Shizuai. Himari hears the notification sound, and Akane quickly makes up an excuse. Then Himari asks Akane if she can invite Saito on a date. Akane asks, "Why are you asking me this?" Himari replies, "If you like Saito, you can tell me. I'll step aside because I don't want to be your rival. I really love you." Hearing this, Akane pretends everything is fine and then starts insulting Saito. Meanwhile, Saito, listening from the kitchen, suddenly feels a deep pain in his heart hearing Akane's words. The next day, Himari gathers a lot of courage and asks Saito out on a date. Later, Saito tells Akane about his date. After hearing this, Akane questions, "Why are you even telling me all this? This is your life. You can do whatever you want." To this, Saito reminds her, "We are married, remember?" Akane replies, "We are only married on paper. Besides, I never planned to marry you anyway." But deep inside, Akane regrets it a lot. The next day, as Saito was about to leave for his date, he reconfirms with Akane, "If you want to stop me, I can still stay." Akane denies it. Just as Saito was about to leave, Akane suddenly runs up behind him, hugs him, and says, "Even if we are only married on paper, you are still my husband, and you can't go on a date with another girl." Hearing this, Saito smiles and replies, "This is exactly what I wanted to hear." He then reveals that he had already declined the date the previous day. Upon hearing this, Akane loses her temper and starts cursing him. Since Saito now knows the truth, he asks Akane to go on a date with him instead. Akane, of course, refuses, to which Saito clarifies, "It's not a date. We're just going shopping. Plus, to make it up to you, I'll buy you a ring." Hearing this, Akane blushes deeply. The next day at school, Himari talks to Saito in a completely normal manner, which surprises him. He asks her about it and she responds, "You rejected me for a date once. That doesn't mean you don't like me. I won't give up on you so easily and will keep trying." At that moment, Shizuai intervenes and declares, "I won't give my brother to you so easily unless you meet my standards." She then reveals that she is both Saito's younger sister and acting as a protective guardian figure. Shocked, Himari asks what she needs to do for approval. Shizuai responds, "It depends on your efforts, but as proof of loyalty, buy me 100,000 melon breads." Determined, Himari says she will do her best. Meanwhile, Akane thinks to herself that she won't give up so easily either, but as soon as she realizes what she is saying, she begins to question herself. Later at school, Saito was extremely shocked because Himari made him his favorite lunch. He asks how she knew he liked it, and she looks at Akane before saying, "That's not important. I prepared it with love, so you should eat it." But Saito initially refuses, so Himari emotionally blackmails him. Others in the class comment on how emotionless Saito seems. However, when Saito eats it, he loves the lunch and enjoys it. Himari was pleased, though Akane was not. Akane interrupts, and Himari teasingly asks if she's feeling jealous. Akane denies it, but Himari reassures her, then offers her some food as well. Meanwhile, others were confused about what's happening. Later, Himari asks Saito to tutor her in math, saying she struggles with it. Saito agrees, making Himari very happy. They plan to study in the library after school, but Akane is not pleased. She warns Himari that studying alone with Saito is dangerous. So, Himari suggests Akane to join them too, but Akane refuses. Himari jokes that if she studies with two toppers, she might become the third topper herself. Just then, Shizuai joins in, reminding them not to forget about her. She offers to tutor Himari too. Himari realizes that with with the first, second, and third rankers teaching her, she might end up in 6th place, which excites her. Saito calls her crazy, but they decide to study together at Akane's house. Once there, Akane hides Saito's belongings. After some times we see that Himari was terrible at math, so Saito and Akane patiently teach her. Himari appreciates Akane's efforts and hugs her. They study for a long time, and Himari finally begins to understand things. She praises Saito for being a great teacher, which makes Akane uncomfortable. Himari offers to help Akane, but Akane refuses, saying she can study on her own. Himari continues praising Saito, getting very close to him. Saito tells her to look in front of her as Akane watches angrily. Suddenly, Shizuai hugs Saito, saying he's a great teacher. In the next scene, they play a card game. Akane was determined to defeat Saito, but after playing for a while, Saito wins every time, leaving her frustrated. Feeling bad, Saito leaves to get some snacks and Akane follows him. Saito tells her that she doesn't need to, but she insists. She notices he looks sad, and he reveals that in his family, losing is unacceptable. As a child, he never lost, so others stopped playing with him. Akane admits that sometimes she feels jealous of Saito because of his sharp memory. However, she vows to defeat him one day. Meanwhile, Himari and Shizuai were playing the zombie game, surprising Akane and Saito. Himari was confused since Akane never liked zombie games, but Akane explains it was a gift from her dad. Changing the topic, she suggests that they should go eat something. While drinking tea, Himari thanks Saito for making math easier for her. She asks if they can study at his place next time, but Saito refuses. Himari asks why he doesn't want to invite her over, getting closer to him, but just then she spills tea on herself. Saito immediately grabs a napkin, surprising her. She asks how he knew where the napkin was, making both of them nervous. Saito insists it was just a guess, and Himari calls him amazing. Shizuai then takes Himari to the restroom to clean up. Once Himari leaves, Akane and Saito start arguing. Akane questions why he made such a big mistake, while Saito says he was just distracted. Akane accuses him of trying too hard to impress others. Their fight was interrupted when the power suddenly goes out. Scared, Akane hugs Saito. Saito tells her to back off, but she refuses, admitting she's afraid of the dark. She asks him not to leave her alone. They start talking, and the atmosphere turns romantic. They were blushing when the lights come back on, right as Himari enters and sees them close together. Shocked, Himari asks what they were doing. Embarrassed, Akane insists they weren't close at all. The next day at school, Akane tells Saito that she didn't understand the teacher's explanation and asks him to teach her again. Saito agrees. Later, Saito helps Akane with her studies, and she quickly understands. Saito praises her intelligence, making her blush again. He then says he's leaving since it's getting late. As he grabs his book, Akane stops him, pointing out that there are still 6 hours until morning and she plans to study the whole night. After listening to this, Saito starts asking Akane why she is working so hard. In response, Akane tells him that she has already said she wants to become a doctor. Saito replies that he knows that, but he wants to know why she specifically wants to become a doctor. Akane tells him that it doesn't matter to him, to which Saito says that indeed it doesn't, but he is still curious. Akane then starts explaining how she had a younger sister who was very sick. Their parents worked hard to make ends meet, so she had to take care of her sister. However, her sister would cry from pain and ask for help, but Akane was completely helpless and couldn't do anything for her. She adds that there are many other people in the world who are just as helpless, and she wants to help them. Hearing this, Saito also becomes quite sad. The next scene shifts to the following day, where Akane seems to be in a low mood, which Saito notices. After reaching school, he discusses this with Shizuai, who suggests that he should take Akane out to cheer her up. She then teases him by asking if he has started seeing Akane as his partner. Saito dismisses the idea, saying that she is just like his roommate and he cannot leave his roommate feeling so down. Saito then starts brainstorming places they could go, but every suggestion he comes up with is rated 0 by Shizuai. Eventually, she suggests a place with a sweets buffet. After reaching home, Saito invites Akane to go out with him over the weekend. Akane, hearing this, gets flustered and asks if he is asking her out on a date. Saito hesitantly gives a vague confirmation and also mentions that they will be visiting a sweet shop, which is enough to convince Akane. Later, Akane visits her grandmother and tells her about the situation. Her grandmother gets extremely happy, saying that now she can die peacefully. She then shows Akane a collection of outfits she has been saving for her for a long time. Additionally, she suggests some undergarments, which Akane refuses to wear. Her grandmother then jokes that Akane might go on the date without wearing anything underneath too, which makes Akane angrily shout at her. The day of the date arrives and Akane looked stunning in her outfit. Seeing her, Saito was completely shocked and keeps staring at her. Despite this, both of them keep insisting that they are a married couple, so this is not a date. Their first stop was a cat cafe, but when they arrive, they find out that Akane is banned from the cafe due to causing too much chaos in the past. Next, they visit a karaoke place, where Akane initially feels uneasy due to overthinking things, but Saito reassures her, saying that they aren't going to do anything weird. After that, they sing together and have a lot of fun. By the time they leave the karaoke place, Akane's mood has significantly improved, and she looks much happier. Afterwards, they stop to drink juice. Akane offers her drink to Saito, which reminds him of an indirect kiss. This makes Akane extremely flustered. Then Akane asks why he invited her out. Saito honestly tells her that he remembered her story about her sister and noticed that she had been feeling down, so he wanted to cheer her up. Hearing this, Akane feels deeply touched and, as a gesture of gratitude, tells Saito that she is ready to go anywhere he wants next. Saito then takes her to a store that sells gym-related items, including various supplements. While Saito tries some of them, Akane gets annoyed seeing all this. As they were leaving, Akane notices a ring that she really likes. Saito offers to buy it for her, but she refuses, saying that it is too expensive and that they are still students. She adds that she will buy it herself when she grows up. Saito then teasingly asks her if she thinks the ring will still be available by then. As they head home, Akane thanks Saito for the day, saying that she is very happy. Seeing her smiling, Saito thinks about how beautiful his wife looks when she smiles, but then wonders why she turns into a demon when she gets angry. At this point, a flashback scene is shown where young Akane asks her mother about her ring. Her mother tells her that it was a token of love from her father and that when Akane grows up, she will understand more about it. At that time, Akane didn't understand anything about it, but now she knows what it meant. Later next day, Saito decides that he will ask his aunt, Seishi's mother, for a job so he could buy that ring for Akane. When he arrives at Seishi's mansion, her mother seemed upset with Saito as she wanted to marry Seishi with him at some point, but still, she offers him a job to translate a difficult code that no one was able to handle. Saito tells her that he could do it in one night. As he returns home, he starts studying the new language and within an hour he was able to fully understand it. Just then Akane walks in his room and was surprised to see Saito studying for one. He clarifies that he was just learning a new language for business, and Akane was impressed by his memory and whispered that she wished she had little Saito inside her, but soon realized how bad that sounds and snapped that she meant his brain, nothing else. Next day, Saito leaves school early with Seishi to go to work, and after completing the translation, he finally buys the ring for Akane. But when he returns home, he sees that Akane was furious at him for spending so much time at Seishi's house, and if he liked her that much, he should have just married her instead. But just then Saito gives her the gift he bought for her, and it was the same ring Akane wanted to buy. She was instantly mesmerized seeing it. Saito explained that he had been doing some translation job at Seishi's mother to be able to afford the ring. As Akane gets flustered, we see that our boy has totally rizzed this wild cat, but he says that it is a peace offering so that they can now live together in peace. The next morning, Saito wakes up to find Akane sitting in bed, completely mesmerized by the ring he gave her. And wow, she looks genuinely happy for once, not plotting his death. She looks at him and asks if he's going to be out late tonight, and Saito, all calm and collected, says he's done with work. Akane's face lights up, and she declares that tonight she'll make him a special dinner. Next morning, Saito was dragging his poor stomach to class, still recovering from the steak binge, when he notices Akane still wearing her ring. Panicking at the thought of classmates seeing it, he grabs her hand and drags her into a secluded corner. Akane, naturally confused, asks why, and Saito explains that while he's glad she loves it, the ring can't become gossip fuel for the school. Akane agrees to stash it in her pouch and only wear it at home. Crisis averted, or so they think. Later, Akane's happiness shatters as the ring was gone. She frantically searches her bag, then retraces her steps outside, even going all the way back to school, but nothing. She's mortified. This wasn't just a shiny accessory, it's the first gift from Saito, a symbol of his love, and somehow, she lost it in one day. Desperate, she briefly considers taking some questionable modeling job to replace it, but she knows nothing will ever replace the original. The next day, she even checks the grocery store where they walk together. Still nothing. She slumps onto a park bench when Seishi shows up. Of course, Seishi immediately knows what's wrong and promises to help Akane find it. They scour the school all day, still coming up empty by nightfall. Akane apologizes for dragging Seishi into her mess, but Seishi insists that she doesn't need to bear it alone. Akane, stubborn as ever, refuses to involve Saito, reasoning that it's her fault, so she alone must fix it. Meanwhile, back at home, Saito was wondering why Akane isn't back yet. Just then, Seishi strolls in. Apparently, Akane made curry for dinner and wasn't coming back for a while. Saito asks for details, but Seishi sticks to her promise not to spill. Fine, now is the time to do what any reasonable husband would, stalk her like a detective. Next day, Saito follows Akane around town. He notices she hasn't worn her ring in days and puts two and 2 together. Eventually, he finds her crying under a bridge. He walks up behind her, gently reminding her that they can always buy another ring. But Akane insists this one matters because it was the first gift he gave her, a symbol that he actually cares despite the whole forced marriage thing. Saito finally understands and offers to help her search. Using his photographic memory, Saito retraces the exact route they walked the day the ring went missing. He remembers 4 times Akane opened her bag along the way. Bingo. At one spot, he deduces the ring likely slipped into a storm drain. He pops the cover off, reaches in and, voila, the pouch with the ring. Akane can't believe it. She hugs Saito and swears never to lose it again. But peace is short-lived because a new threat appears. A girl related to the Hojo family was flying into Japan, not happy about Akane's married life, and she's planning to steal him away. The next morning, Saito was sitting on a school bench when a new girl, Mayo, shows up. He had no idea who she was, so he asks, and Mayo was devastated. She tells him that she likes him and wants him as her boyfriend. Saito, of course, was completely shocked. Mayo claims that she isn't a stranger and she knows a lot about him, including that he was asked out by Himari and turned her down, and that he's living with Akane. Saito, skeptical, asks how she knows, but she skillfully dodges the question. Then Mayo drops big one that if he refuses, she'll tell the entire school about his marriage to Akane. Saito initially thinks she's bluffing, but Mayo was loud, dramatic, and terrifyingly convincing, even trying to use this as an excuse to kiss him. And yes, Saito was forced to cover her mouth, because, naturally, he's in the middle of a high school rom-com apocalypse. Fortunately, Seishi comes to the rescue just in time and, in true heroic fashion, kicks Mayo away to save Saito. She swears she'll protect him no matter what, but naturally, she forgets to protect herself. Because of course, when Mayo comes back, she goes straight for Seishi. Because Seishi is so cute, but Seishi warns him that Mayo is going to be a major problem, so don't get too comfortable. Saito heads back to class to pack up, spotting Seishi, Akane, and Himari already heading home. Finally, he thinks a moment of peace. But no, our high school rom-com protagonist's hope for alone time is immediately dashed when Mayo comes looking for him. Turns out every guy in class is mad at Saito because he has another cute girl chasing him, so naturally, he has to run for his life. Once they're alone, Saito tries to act cool and asks Mayo why she decided to ask him out. Mayo's dramatically says because he is her love at first sight. Saito doesn't buy it because, let's face it, he knows he isn't exactly Brad Pitt. But Mayo insists that yes, he's that good looking. And of course, she slides down a railing, forcing Saito to catch her. Saito's brain was like, I did not sign up for this. Mayo justifies it saying that life is too short to play it safe, you never know when you might die, so confessing to the guy you like immediately is totally justified. Saito can't relate as he's never been in love. Mayo presses on, asking if he's really not in love with Akane, even though they live together. Saito calmly explains, it's not about liking her, he literally has no choice in the matter. Mayo, undeterred, asks if he would consider falling in love with her instead, claiming she already has the perfect first date location. Saito, predictably, says no. Then, trying to soften the rejection, she asks if he can at least show her around town since she's new. Reluctantly, Saito agrees, and they go to some McDonald's. Naturally, Mayo orders a giant cheeseburger and somehow inhales it in one bite. Saito was shocked, but he can't judge as he's a junk food enthusiast himself. Mayo adds a cute side note. Her sister always scolds her for eating junk food, but it's just care disguised as annoyance. Of course, things escalate when she notices some sauce on Saito's finger. Without hesitation, she licks it off. Saito's internal scream literally sounded, "Why is this happening?" Then Mayo snaps a picture. Saito panics, chases her, and corners her outside. She deletes the photo, and Saito finally calms down, deciding they can continue their little town tour. Mayo, meanwhile, was stunned that he's not furious after her finger-licking stunt. She assumes that, because Saito and Akane fight all the time, he must be chill, and she's not entirely wrong. As evening comes, Sato's done showing her around, so he decides to head home. Mayo immediately tries to crash at his house, using classic blackmail by threatening to expose his marriage to Akane. Saito had no choice but to let her in. When Akane opens the door, ready to chew him out, she freezes seeing Mayo, as she was Akane's little sister, in his arms. Saito was internally screaming and Akane was internally screaming as well. And yes, she didn't even mention she existed before. Mayo immediately hugs Akane like they haven't seen each other in ages, but then she makes it weird, so Akane shoves her off. But Saito had questions. Mainly he asks, "Wait, I thought she was dead." Akane just gives him the what face. Turns out Mayo's been traveling the world, and this is her first time back in ages. She's here to inspect Saito and Akane's married life, starting with the bedroom. Upon seeing the double bed, she immediately asks if Akane and Saito sleep together. Akane admits they do. Mayo jumps to conclusions. Obviously, they've done the deed. Akane panics and assures her nothing's happened. Mayo's satisfied but wants to make sure nothing funny happens. plans, so she insists on sleeping over. Akane decides to make porridge for dinner to celebrate, which immediately terrifies Mayo. Saito also cringes at the idea, but Akane was determined. She heads to the fridge and finds Seishi frozen solid in fridge, literally almost like she's part of a horror movie fridge scene. She checks Seishi was okay. Seishi, dramatic as ever, demands mouth-to-mouth. Saito points out, if she can talk, she's fine. Mayo, of course, offers to do it instead, but Seishi, in classic little sister fashion, jumps back into the fridge for safety and hides behind Saito. Mayo, relentless, begs Saito to hand over Seishi. Saito, loyal as ever, refuses. Mayo then points out that since Saito is married to Akane, Seishi is technically his little sister-in-law. Seishi instantly rejects this title being stolen, challenges Mayo to a little sister duel, and Saito's brain officially breaks because he has no idea what a little sister duel entailed. Before Saito could even process what was happening, Mayo had already gotten behind him and, of course, started giving him the full stepbrother experience. Saito, unsurprisingly, was not into that. He gave her a solid 0 out of 10 for effort. Then Seishi stepped up, probably thinking this is her moment to shine, and demonstrated how a real little sister should act. She fell to the ground, pretending to be hurt, activating every single big brother neuron in Saito's brain. Naturally, he swooped in to pick her up, proving that Seishi had absolutely won the contest. Akane, being the chaos observer, just sighed and said she still thought Mayo was the best little sister in the world, the classic Akane logic. Then Akane and Mayo retreated to Akane's room for some private sisterly chatter. Akane immediately asked why Mayo hadn't told her she was coming to Japan. Mayo explained that she wanted to surprise Akane, and Akane was definitely surprised, especially because Mayo had shown up clinging to Saito's arm like a human grappling hook. Of course, Mayo couldn't waste a moment and immediately pitched her master plan. She thinks she should marry Saito instead of Akane, because their grandparents orchestrated this whole youthful romance experiment. So why can't she just take Akane's place? Plus, she's confident she can convince their grandmother to support Akane's education even if she ends up married to Saito. Akane, logical as ever, tried to shut down the plan as Mayo couldn't possibly handle Saito. He's arrogant, egocentric, and apparently thinks he's perfect at everything. And more or less she's right. Mayo, of course, wasn't fazed. She insisted that she'd get along fine with Saito. They share so many things in common like junk food, video games, etc., which Akane hates with every fiber of her being. Akane tried one last argument. Wouldn't it be better to marry someone you actually love? Mayo brushed it off with, I like him. He's hot. And that's enough for me. She even whipped out the infamous picture she took of Saito earlier, just to prove how close they were. Akane was speechless. Mayo then bounced off to spend some quality time with Saito, leaving Akane to stew in confusion. Meanwhile, Saito was blissfully taking a bath when Mayo, naturally, barreled in demanding to bathe with him. Saito tried his best polite refusal, but Mayo ignored him and climbed in anyway. Then she asked if he'd be fine with marrying her because the grandparents only cared about their grandkids being married. She promised she'd let him do anything he wanted with her. Saito, struggling with willpower, muttered that he'd have to think about it. Mayo, not taking maybe later for an answer, made it painfully clear she wasn't joking. After finishing his bath, Saito staggered to the bedroom, looking like he had run a marathon. Akane, seeing him, asked what was wrong. Saito groaned that Mayo's energy alone was exhausting, and he was training to be around her. Akane nodded sympathetically, remembering Mayo's bratty but endearing childhood, being always sick, always hospital-bound, yet always chaotic. Despite the chaos, Akane wanted to make Mayo happy, so she silently admired her little sister's high spirits. As Saito was about to finally go to sleep, Akane dropped a bomb. She wanted to ask if Saito wanted to break up with her. Saito jumped up, nearly choking, demanding why she would ask such a thing, but Akane didn't have any answer. Next day, the gang heads to an amusement park for Mayo's homecoming celebration. Himari immediately senses something's off and asks Mayo about her relationship with Saito. Mayo casually admits she's trying to win his heart, which, of course, instantly makes her Himari's rival. They go on all sorts of rides, and everything's fun until the roller coaster. Akane panics, passes out, and spends the entire ride unconscious. She tries to act tough afterward, but the Ferris wheel betrays her, shaking her until Saito has to ask if she's okay. Akane confesses that she's terrified of rides and height. Saito then asked why she even came, and Akane sheepishly admits she just wanted to make Mayo happy. Saito, touched by her selflessness, offers to hold her hand until they get back on solid ground. Akane, flustered, protests that he's making a move, but he insists that it's just to calm her down. And as she held his hand, Akane stops shaking. That night, Saito finally goes to bed, thinking he's safe. Next to him, lying on top of him, is Mayo. Saito, trying to be rational, asks if she remembers being at one of his grandpa's parties. A while back, right around when Saito graduated elementary school, he remembered a party his grandpa hosted. There was this one girl he spent the whole night talking to, but he never got her name. And now, looking at Mayo, he realized that she looked exactly like that girl. Of course, he had to ask her straight up. Mayo just smirked and said, yes, that was her, and she was actually glad Saito still remembered her after all this time. But of course, that warm, nostalgic moment quickly spiraled into chaos. Mayo immediately decided it was business time and started unbuttoning Saito's shirt. Saito, in a world full of anime insanity, told her they should at least get to know each other first. Saito blinked. No amount of her claiming to love him made sense. Eventually, Mayo admitted it. Yes, she really hated him, but apparently, that didn't matter. She still wanted to at least kiss him. Before Saito could even react, Akane barged into the room and froze seeing Mayo on top of Saito. Saito, panicking, tried to explain, but Akane didn't want to hear it. She yelled, I hate both of you, and kicked them out. Mayo, unfazed, immediately suggested they should camp out together that night. Saito says that he'd just walk her home, but Mayo, always the plot twist, asked where he'd stay for the night. Saito considered Seishi's house but didn't want to bother her, so he decided on a hotel. Mayo, naturally, insisted on tagging along. Saito sprinted to his hotel room, locked the door, and tried to pretend this was a normal night. Mayo, of course, started banging on the door and plotting how to break in with a fire extinguisher she conveniently found. Saito had to wrestle the extinguisher from her, pin her on the bed, and firmly announce she was getting evicted from this scenario. She could stay the night, but she had to stop trying to seduce him. Mayo, never one to follow rules lightly, asked if he could tuck her in and pat her head until she fell asleep like he did for Seishi. Saito, defeated by her puppy eyes, agreed. The next morning, Saito noticed something was wrong. Mayo was gasping for air and freezing cold. Turns out, she hadn't taken her usual medication the night before. Saito, panicking, carried her outside and waited for a cab. At the hospital, Mayo's condition turned out worse than she expected, and she had to stay for a while. Her parents were called, and Saito, not wanting awkward family drama, was about to leave. Mayo begged him not to tell Akane, reasoning that Akane had already sacrificed so much for her over the years, and she didn't want to add to her burden. Saito understood and promised to keep it a secret. Later, Saito called Seishi to come pick him up since he couldn't go home yet. Meanwhile, Akane, frantic, confronted Saito at school, demanding to know where Mayo was. Saito, rolling his eyes, insisted he didn't know anything and walked inside, leaving Akane even more suspicious. After school, Saito visited Mayo with a burger. Mayo, thrilled, devoured it. Saito scolded her for letting him keep bringing junk food, or else he'd get in trouble. He asked why she was traveling the world despite her fragile health. Mayo explained she didn't know when her condition might worsen, or when she might suddenly die, so she wanted to experience as much as possible before that happened. Plus, being abroad meant Akane wouldn't have to worry. Saito finally pieced it together that Mayo had been using herself as a buffer to protect Akane. At first, he thought she hated him for stealing Akane, but now it made perfect sense. Mayo hated him, kind of, but not really. She just loved Akane enough to manipulate her health, travel the world, and keep her little secrets safe. And Saito, classic Saito, understood completely, because when has he ever been able to ignore a girl with a death wish and a heart full of scheming love? Saito reassured Mayo that Akane still cares about her, and if she wanted to apologize properly, she'd better rest up so she could face Akane in a not completely traumatizing state. Mayo laid down while Saito held her hand. Naturally, she got curious. Why was he taking such good care of her when he didn't have to? Saito, without missing a beat, said he just wanted Akane to be happy and that it would crush her if Mayo was left alone in the hospital. This statement just melted her heart. Once she fell asleep, Saito got up to leave, only to find Akane standing there, frozen, staring at him. Akane immediately bolted for the elevator because she couldn't handle making eye contact with him after hearing that he actually cares about her happiness. A week later, Mayo was fully recovered and finally had her apology meeting with Akane. She confessed that all her attempts to seduce Saito were because she thought Akane was unhappy being married to him. She admitted that she tried really hard to get him to reciprocate and even got as close as one bath together. Saito, of course, cut her off mid-sentence, glaring at her like a hawk, because no way was Akane hearing that. Mayo clarified, Saito hadn't done anything wrong, so Akane had no reason to be mad at him. Akane, grudgingly understanding, promised to forget all the chaos, but she drew the line at Mayo trying to steal her husband. Mayo, ever the troublemaker, casually admitted she might have actually fallen in love with Saito, making Akane losing her mind. She screamed at Saito for seducing her sister and stormed off to class. Back in class, Saito finally got a chance to talk to Akane. She asked the one thing that really mattered. Was it true that he really wanted her to be happy? Saito, slightly flustered but honest, admitted he was. Akane smiled, finally reassured, and asked if he could please just come home already. After all, it had been a week since he'd been home, and keeping grandparents in the dark about our living arrangements is never a good idea. Saito agreed, but of course, neither of them realized that Himari was standing right behind them, silently witnessing that Saito and Akane were living together. Oh boy, this is going to be fun. So yeah, the secret was out. Himari accidentally blurts out loudly that Saito and Akane are living together, and now the entire class knows. Everyone's been suspicious for a while anyway, so now they start interrogating poor Saito like he just committed tax fraud. Even on the way home, Saito and Seishi notice a bunch of classmates tailing them, trying to confirm if Saito really lives with Akane. My man can't even walk home without feeling like he's in a Spy X Family episode. Seishi's like, should I call the family sniper? And Saito, being the discount pacifist he is, goes, nah, let's not make it that deep. Bro, your pride is on life support, but okay. So, instead of calling for help like a normal human, Saito grabs her hand and sprints onto a random bus like it's Squid Game Survival Round 3. They ride it all the way to the final stop just to lose their stalkers, only to realize they're now stranded in the middle of nowhere with no signal, no snacks, and no bus till tomorrow. Man's escape plan really turned into a Bear Grylls episode. Luckily, Seishi's maid had a tracking device on her because apparently everyone around her has trust issues. The maid rolls up like a GTA rescue mission and drives them home. So now both are safe but basically trapped in their house. Cause if any classmate catches them together again, rumors will spread faster than spoilers on Twitter. Then they hear a noise upstairs and Akane immediately goes full demon slayer, grabbing a bat and a suit of armor like she's about to solo a burglar. Saito, the peace ambassador, stops her, saying, violence isn't the answer. Yeah, says the guy who just kidnapped himself on a bus an hour ago. Turns out the intruder was Mayo, who just used the back door like a normal person. She's brought Himari with her, the very source of this chaos. They all sit down, and Himari apologizes for spilling the secret. Akane says it's fine but low-key blames them for lying in the first place. Saito also apologizes, because that's his main personality trait at this point. Himari admits she already kinda knew that they weren't exactly subtle. Saito knew his way around Akane's house too well. Man was navigating like Google Maps with premium access. Being the gossip queen she is, Himari assumed they were married for business reasons. She's half right as it turns out that their grandparents just wanted to test drive a marriage for fun. Bro, imagine being married because your grandparents were bored. That's not romance. That's a beta version of Tinder. Anyway, Himari's just relieved that they're not actually in love because that means she still has a shot. Mayo then says that they need to fix the rumors. Seishi's first suggestion was like, make everyone who heard it disappear. Classic mafia granddaughter energy. Saito rejects that plan before she accidentally starts Death Note, School Edition. No one else has any bright ideas until Himari raises her hand like a genius about to change history. She says they should kill the rumor by pretending Saito is dating someone else. Totally not because she wants to be that someone else. Of course. Totally, definitely not. Saito, with his 0 brain cells and 100% plot armor, agrees. And just like that, Himari becomes his temporary girlfriend. She starts acting all lovey-dovey at school, basically speedrunning the fake dating trope like she's farming XP like solo leveling. Everyone immediately believes they're a couple because Himari is out here dropping PDA like she's being graded for it. Then she's like, let's hang out alone in an empty classroom to make it more believable. Saito agrees because of course he has no clue what she's planning. When he asks, Himari suddenly turns shy because she didn't actually expect him to say yes. Bro, you started this and now you're blushing like a tomato in HD. Saito teases her for getting embarrassed, and she's like, well, I actually like you, so this is kinda hard. For once, our boy Saito sees her being flustered and can't help but laugh. Man's like, wow, emotions, didn't think you had those. Anyway, Himari says she wants to cuddle but immediately regrets saying it, but Saito just shrugs and lets her sit on his lap like it's a casual Tuesday. She's melting internally, and he's pretending that this is all for the mission. They stay like that for a while because apparently all their classmates were spying on them like high school romance, like zero privacy and maximum chaos. Later, when they go back to class, all the girls corner Himari demanding answers about the hug. That's when she and Saito make it official that we're dating. Akane, however, was not happy with this plan. She's jealous but too proud to say it, so she drags Himari to the roof and asks, you sure you're okay with acting all lovey-dovey with that idiot? Himari's like, are you kidding? I'm having the time of my life. She knows this might be her only chance to be close to Saito, so she's going all in. After school, the two go on a mission-related shopping trip, aka a date, and Saito even walks her home. He thanks her for helping about to leave, but Himari hits him with the, wanna come upstairs? Bro freezes like a Windows update. Eventually, he agrees, goes inside. outside and notices her bookshelf full of psychology and social engineering books. Now he's realizing that this sweet, shy girl might actually be a mastermind plotting his downfall. Man's out here living the rom-com version of Death Note, and he's too dumb to notice. So, Himari starts opening up about her past. Turns out back in middle school, Akane used to be her personal bodyguard, protecting her from bullies like some secret anime heroine. But of course, in classic tragic anime logic, that only made the bullies switch targets and start going after Akane instead. So, Himari decided she wasn't going to let that slide. She started studying psychology, manipulation, and social engineering like she was preparing for Death Note Friendship Edition. Saito, with his 2 remaining brain cells, thinks that's admirable. He's like, wow, you did all that just for Akane? Bro, she was out here learning 4D chess strategies while you still can't figure out if a girl likes you. Then Himari hits him with the big question, do you have any feelings for Akane? Saito, being the emotionally unavailable noodle he is, says no. Himari's eyes light up like, so you're saying there's a chance. Later that night, Saito finally drags himself home and finds Akane waiting for him like an angry housewife in a soap opera. She's like, why are you so late? And Saito casually says, oh, I was just hanging out at Himari's place. Akane immediately rage quits life and locks herself in her study like it's a panic room. Next morning, Saito wakes up to find Akane smiling at him like sunshine. He panics because she's never nice without a motive. She's suddenly being sweet all morning, and now he's convinced she's either possessed or planning his assassination. Then he asks her something serious. Was high school really the first time we met? Akane freezes, denies everything, but Saito's brain finally boots up and he remembers her voice from that childhood party. Turns out she was the girl he met years ago on a balcony when both of them hated fancy parties. They talked all night, but he forgot her completely. That's why Akane's been mad at him all this time, because man straight up erased their Disney movie moment from his memory. Saito, you absolute clown. Akane locks herself in her room again, classic move. He knocks and apologizes, but she just says she needs some time. Bro, she's hurt because you forgot her like an expired app subscription. Later, Saito goes out shopping to clear his head, and in the park, he finds Himari being harassed by some random guys. She tells them that she's a minor, but they keep pushing. Then Saito shows up out of nowhere like Batman, grabs one guy's shoulder, and calmly says, if you don't leave her alone, I'll scoop out your eyeballs and feed them to the fish. Man went from romance anime protagonist to Yakuza boss in 0.3 seconds. The guys run for their lives and Himari's like, but maybe tone down the murder threats? Saito says, that's just how my family handles things. Yeah, therapy would like to know your location. They talk for a bit, and Himari admits she's hiding out because her evil stepmom came home early. She doesn't even have money for a hotel, so she's been sitting in the park. Saito decides to stay with her so she's not alone, and she starts blushing because apparently bare minimum emotional support is all it takes with this guy. Then she reminds him he owes her a favor for the fake dating thing. Before he can respond, she just straight up kisses him, and while she kissed him, some guys from their class saw them and clicked their photo. Next day, boom, every girl in school already has the kiss pic on their phone. Akane sees it and runs out of class like she's late for the final boss battle. She bumps into Himari, who basically says, girl, if you don't make your move soon, I'm taking him. Later, Akane's at home trying to figure out her feelings when Saito comes back with her favorite pastry. Dude doesn't even realize he just dropped a plus 100 affection gift. That tiny gesture finally makes Akane admit to herself that she's in love with him. She calls Himari and asks to meet at the park. Once they're there, she tells Himari to stop pretending to be Saito's girlfriend. Himari's like, nah, not unless you give me a real reason. Akane finally blurts out, because I love him. Himari's like, cool, but that doesn't change anything. I've liked him for ages, and I'm not backing down. Akane tries to pull the I met him first card, saying they met years ago at that party, which surprises Himari but also kind of confirms what she suspected. Turns out Himari already knew Akane liked Saito but never pushed too hard because she didn't want to ruin their friendship. Akane asks if all the fake dating and kissing was just to help her realize her feeling. Himari's like, nah, I just did it cause I wanted to, but I'm glad it helped. The two of them finally talk things out and agree on one thing, that they're not going to let their friendship break over some guy. But they're also not giving up on him either. Mutual respect and mutual chaos. Of course, the very next day, Akane goes right back to being awkward and tsundere around Saito like nothing ever happened. She's flustered, confused, and still can't look him in the eye. Meanwhile, Saito's probably still wondering why women around him keep threatening, kissing, and feeding him pastries. Bro's life is basically a dating sim with extra trauma that you guys dream of. And that's how the I got married to the girl I hate comes to an end. Hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell.